Hello and welcome back to the final Ace Attorney Duckpond book club of Apollo Justice. Not the final one ever. We still got a lot more ones to go, but the final one of the journey of Apollo Justice. Well, the first third of his journey, of course. I mean, the next two games are definitely gonna have him as the main guy because I mean it's his trilogy. But yes, we are at the final game in the original Apollo Justice game reboot kind of thing of the Ace Attorney franchise with the new protagonist. And yeah, I have now experienced the ending of Apollo Justice for the first time ever. And what an ending it is. There's a lot to talk about. One of the longest cases in the game, for sure. But it is not only me here to talk about this. We also have Goomb. Of course, Goomb, how are you doing?
I am Apollo 11.
Goomb's Apollo 11.
It's like that guy, with the cow outfit.
Yeah, we're just gonna be talking some Apollo Justice Turnabout Succession.
Wow, I said I wouldn't make that joke.
What joke? I didn't make any joke. What are you talking about? Just saying it a
I
different
see
way.
how it is.
But yes, final case. Apollo Justice. It's been a long, well, not really that long of a journey here, seeing as this game actually has so far the least amount of cases of any Ace Attorney game. I mean, unless you don't include Rise from the Ashes, but I include that. So
I mean, it's tied for Justice for All, which is the second Ace Attorney game.
yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that. Oops. I guess this is probably longer than Justice for All. Maybe
I
I don't
think I
remember.
think it is.
I mean, the tutorial is longer for sure. Yeah.
I had to pad out that time making you watch the video 1,000 times in Serenade, make sure it was longer than Justice for All.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah. Honestly, just because of that, it probably is longer. But yeah, we're just gonna be going through it here. Maybe get some initial thoughts out of the way first. Now that I know how Apollo Justice ends, I mean it's okay, I guess. It didn't like blow me away or anything. But
You were waiting years for this.
yeah, literal years of my life I've been building up to this moment to see how Apollo Justice's journey would end. And
When are they gonna jump over that cliff in Woody's Roundup?
it's
Except it would be like if you just never watched the episode with the cliffhangers resolved.
yeah, it sure did end. I don't know. Goom, what do you think now that you're replaying this case for the ending of Apollo Justice?
It's decent. I think it could be paced better. I like a lot of the ideas in it, but I don't think it coalesces into like a great case or anything. It's just a good one.
I feel like it's kind of a roller coaster of emotions for me. There's some pretty high highs. Well, okay, maybe it's a roller coaster, but like it doesn't really ever dip that low. It's got some
Yeah.
highs. So
I
it's
don't
like
think I'd ever
it's
call
a
it
very
like
boring roller coaster. Maybe that's a good way to put it.
I'd never call it like bad, but I don't think it ever becomes like great, you know?
Yeah,
I,
definitely some of the
I think
pacing issues kind of hurt it.
I think it's missing just a little something.
Probably would have been good if they had like one extra case to maybe help build up some of the background of stuff some more, but nope. Uh but yeah, we got a lot to talk about. This is a pretty long case. So how about we gonna do it? We start out with the freaking Mason system.
No, we don't. I guess we start out with the like logo of it in the opening. I thought you were saying we start off with day two, and I was like, oh, we don't.
Nope. Well, technically we start out with the Mason system, but they don't really explain what's going on. They just show you a bunch of scenes from like the past couple cases, and it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense what the Mason system is or what this weird globular thing even is. But it'll be explained later. I guess I thought that was interesting. It was a cool way to start the case. I didn't really expect it.
I like the
I don't
shot
know.
of Kristoff at the end for the last of my favorite way of doing its attorney intros. Went out at least on a good looking note, I think.
It's kind of a subdued opening to a case, I'd say. Don't this shit show Vera falling over though? Actually, so I guess it's a
They
little bit of
do.
intrigue that they have.
They do show the CGs of her falling over.
But you're back at the Right Anything Agency. There's a magic show happening soon. Phoenix is also back and talking about his big his secret mission, which he immediately reveals to you as being the jurist system, which is basically the system that they're trying out, where instead of having the judge decide everything with a verdict or guilty or whatever, they just have some random unnamed people on the sidelines decide.
Well, it's a jury. I think we all know what a jury is. I don't know why they call it the jurist system, because a jurist is like a legal expert. A jury is a different thing, but that's a translation problem. I don't really understand how that never got fixed. Maybe they wanted to be, because like the one known member of the jury is not a legal expert. I know that much.
So there are already a couple things going a bit wrong in this case already. One is the jurist system. I kind of feel like maybe it would have made more sense if they had like had this happen throughout the entire game, not just
they
the
are
final
building
case.
up to it the entire game. That's in the previous case and in case 1. The idea that like Phoenix had to use forged evidence to convict Kristoff because the legal system isn't prepared to deal with situations like this in case 1, and then in case 3, Phoenix explicitly says you have to use unconventional methods because the legal system is screwed up. That's like, so it's the through line of, oh, the legal system is bad, we have to change it, and that's being resolved here with, here is the change of the legal system. That's them building up to it.
I guess I just didn't feel like it was really built up that well, at least in my opinion. I don't know, or maybe the payoff wasn't that good. I mean, honestly, I don't care if you tell me, but I'm like 99% sure they just do away with this immediately in the next game.
Yeah.
So yeah, like what's the point? I mean,
that's because
Apollo
Justice is very cynical, and Dual Destiny is in a lot of ways walking back on that.
Yeah.
Because the writers changed.
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing with Phoenix getting disbarred as well is kind of sad. I don't know, but we'll talk about that more later. My thoughts on the juror system are it's just kind of weird. I don't know. And I kind of wish it would have been more present besides just like a thing building in the background there the entire time. Because I don't know, maybe it just takes the wind out of the sails a bit when the moment you open this case, it's like, oh yeah, I'm doing this juror system thing, and that's gonna be like the gimmick for this trial. And
well, the problem is it doesn't really influence the trial at all. That's my problem with it. Like, if you're gonna have a jury and ace attorney, I think you should like plan out how the dynamics should be different from just a normal case of the judge. But it's just the judge there the entire time. The jury's just watching through cameras. It's just kind of like the lamest possible way to go about it.
Yeah, they just don't show any of the juries at all. Well, besides a single one, but
at the end.
It also kind of confuses me a bit because if Phoenix is disbarred, how does he have like so much sway over getting this like going and being like the mastermind behind it? Why is he even allowed to do that?
The idea is that Phoenix is still a famous lawyer, and there's enough doubt about the case that like he isn't completely thrown out of everything.
But also Clavier was like apparently his only friend.
Kristoff.
Oh yeah, Kristoff, sorry. So they build him up as an outcast, but then he also somehow still has enough sway. But
Kristoff was the only guy on the bar association who was his friend.
But also he's like drowning in debt or just super poor right now, and a 15-year-old is supporting him. I don't know.
He's always been poor. That's not different.
It just kind of feels like, I don't know, I just can't really believe it that he's somehow setting this up. But
I don't really think it's that big of a concern. He's just, to me, he's always just been more like the face and like one of the main movers. There's probably other people behind the scenes that we just don't see. It's because it is like a big nationwide thing is the idea. I don't think there's anything that implies that Phoenix would like have that much political sway.
So does this mean that the test was an absolute failure and that's why they did away with it immediately?
I mean, if you look at who Phoenix picked for the jury, he did not do a very good job making an impartial jury. So
Yeah, that's another thing. I'm like, I don't know. This case has a weird relationship with Phoenix, so I'm not really sure they do him that well on it.
yeah,
But we'll get there when we get there, baby.
I like Hobo Phoenix. I think he's written badly in the flashback case, though.
Yeah. Well, anyways, we also get an envelope that Phoenix is like, you'll open it when the time is right. So that's great.
He's too busy. He has to aura farm. It's his way.
Yeah. And then we meet our client, Vera Mission, Misham, something like that.
I think it's Misham because the pun is Drew Misham, Drew My Sham.
Oh, Misham. Okay, that makes sense.
That's just to make the pun work, is why I pronounce it like that. So I don't know.
She's pretty funny. She's got like the whole little gimmick with her sketch pad, which is cool. She likes the magicians. I mean,
I like that Apollo waited 10 minutes for her to show up and she was there the entire time because she's just so quiet.
yeah, she was just off to the side. I mean, she's okay, I guess. It's like, I don't know. She's a fine defendant. I do have some thoughts on the whole poisoning thing about how somehow she survives it or doesn't survive it depending on what you choose, but maybe we could talk about that more later because that's not really related to her character or anything. But yeah, I don't know. You got any other thoughts on her?
So this is like the last defendant in Apologistus, and something that Apologistus does that I like is that every single defendant in Apologistus is like a criminal or has committed a crime in the process of doing the like case, because Phoenix forged evidence in case 1. And then Waki is a gangster, and then Machi is a smuggler, and now we have a forger for a client. And I just like that as a through line, especially with like the general tone of the game. I think it fits well. I keep calling Apologistus like kind of a cynical game, and it really is, but
I guess I never really get the impression that it's like a darker game, but I guess I can kind of see
I'm
it.
not calling it darker, I'm calling it cynical. Where like a lot of times Ace Attorney's like through line is, if we work hard enough we can do anything, and then Phoenix the Apologist is like, we have to completely overhaul the legal system because it's made by people and people are fallible, is like the basic end goal.
That's fair. Yeah.
And then you have like Emma Skye showing up and she's like, I failed my dream. I am now a lowly detective. I hate everything.
Yeah.
And then you have Phoenix showing up and he's like, I am a hobo.
Well, kind of.
And then the assistant is like faking her enthusiasm like the entire game. Like really, Apologistus is a pretty cynical game if you like, especially on replays, I think at least. Besides Clavier. Which is why I really wish Clavier had like a character arc where he was like reverse Edgeworth for a large portion of the game, where he starts out friendly and becomes like more and more bitter towards Apollo as the game goes on, and then you have like a confrontation with him in this case or something like that. I don't know. It's just like ideas bouncing in my head when I'm playing through the game this time.
He kind of
I
is
just wish they did something more interesting with him.
He's kind of just really chummy with you up until the very end. Like, yeah, I mean, I pretty much expected that my brother was like the one that set this whole thing up, you know?
Yeah, I wish they... Like, 3 of the 4 killers in this game, and if you count the flashback case, 4 out of the 5 killers in this game relate to Clavier's past or have a relationship with him. Because he kind of screwed up in the flashback case.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't seem like he cares at all. It's annoying.
Yeah.
I want them to do something with that. If you're going to make almost every single killer connected to him, do something.
It also kind of feels like he really doesn't have... Honestly, most people don't really... It feels like once it's sort of revealed that Phoenix was set up, it kind of doesn't really feel like anybody really cares that much. I don't know. Like, Vera says she has to apologize. I think that's about it. Just kind of sad, but oh well. Okay,
Phoenix never really takes a stand on day 2, so you don't have a moment.
Yeah.
To like trial day 2 is what I'm talking about. You never really like a moment for him to like get have a judge talk to him or something. Probably
Just
should have had that in the case.
there in the background. Oh geez, we're really jumping around in this case, but we got a Drew Studio. It's kind of neat. I like
I
that
like the
we
Drew Studio theme a lot.
yeah, I like that we also get to see in the past it with like so much more rundown and stuff. It's cool to see
Yeah,
that contrast. A lot of evidence and stuff here. We also meet up with Emma again to do some stuff. We actually have the victim in this case, Drew mission. The
yeah. I
father
mentioned his name earlier because it's where the pun comes
mission.
from. He's
Who is very
he's
much important in the case in the past. Not so much important now because he's dead. Um,
I mean, he's still important. The victims are important. I'll stand
yeah,
up for the victims.
he is more important than some of the other victims.
I like his design. I like the way his eyes are drawn, and then the paintbrush hair.
Yeah, he's got like paintbrush eyes. They kind of only mentioned a little bit the reason all of the cases Apollo has done are even in his gallery at all, but I think it's because like he was just watching all of Apollo's cases or something.
He was watching because he was watching Phoenix Wright. He was interested in Phoenix Wright after the forging flashback case stuff happened, and then Phoenix talking to him during the past. Because all the Mason system stuff did happen. It's not like non-canon. Just to be clear, it's not like a weird abstract way of representing Phoenix's investigations about like the flashback case and events thereof. But he became interested in Phoenix, and so he was watching him. So the first case Apollo just is Phoenix doing it, and then afterwards Apollo is representing Phoenix's agency, so he's watching Apollo.
I see. Okay. We also get a new forensics technique in here. This one is pretty simple as well, but I actually quite like it, to be honest. You just like go down the line a little bit and like fill in all the stuff. I don't know, it's just kind of satisfying to me. What's its name?
The X-ray device thing
Yeah.
that you used to see inside envelopes.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty cool.
I kind of like the two fill-in stuff that you did in Trial 2, but this one is alright as well. Actually, do you really even do that many forensic stuff in the last trial? Not really.
On the last case, all you do is the 4 X-rays, and that's it.
Yeah.
I like the Apollo like realizing that every single rough sketch is one of his cases. That's a good moment.
Yeah.
That's also why the intro to case 1 looked like that. It's because it's the rough sketch animated.
Ah, I see.
I said there was a reason for it back in case 1.
It's cool. I mean, I don't know. It just doesn't really mean.
It doesn't really lead to anything super cool, but
yeah.
I don't think it needs to. I think I like the. I'm fine with it being the way it is because I think the connection between like Drew and Phoenix is enough for him to care. He's a shut-in.
Yeah, I mean, out of all the things I wish they would have fleshed out more in this case, this is not like my first pick, so I guess I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
There are some other things I really feel like they maybe should have taken more time with, but we'll get there. We meet up with Valant again. Chipper's ever ready for his big day.
He calls Phoenix Wright Lord Daddy at one point.
I must have missed that.
It's in a non-optional dialogue. It's when you show him the Trucy's letter, the envelope.
Oh, I see.
And he goes, "Oh, what? Who gave this to you?" And Trucy goes, "My daddy." And he goes, "This is Zach." And she goes, "No, my other daddy, Lord Daddy Phoenix Wright."
Jeez. I guess I forgot to screenshot that. I did screenshot when you're talking with Phoenix at the very beginning. When you look at Charlie, he's like, the plant. It intrigues you, doesn't it? I don't know.
I also like the bit at the beginning. I really like the Phoenix Trucy relationship. I like it a lot. I like the bit where Phoenix is giving Trucy the envelope, and he's like, "It's a present." She goes, "It's not my birthday." Then it's a recycle your plastics day present.
Yeah.
Yippee! So it's plastic.
Yeah, we talked to Valence for a bit and learned about like the performance rights stuff and all that. Then,
It's character motivation for Fallon.
yeah, we get the reveal of the best character in Turnabout Succession, Spark Brushel himself. Wow, what a guy!
Honestly, I have to agree with you. He is the best character in Turnabout Succession.
This guy is so freaking funny. He's got all the best lines in the case. Well, okay, I only screenshotted one of them, but I thought it was really funny.
Oh, I think the best line does not come from him, but he does have a lot of
His
good
animations are so good. His little quirk with his like headlines of news articles is really funny, and
the fact that he somehow blinks with his lower eyelids is disturbing, and that's funny.
yeah. Also, the fact that like he's actually kind of pretty important to the case, and like he's not like a complete goofball actually.
And he consistently does his best to be like a helpful witness too, which is also like, what the heck?
Yeah, and he has the most famous theme of all, eccentric.
And on investigation day 2, at one point he says he's not sure if he's human, and I think that's really funny.
he's just the best. I don't know what much more there really you can say about him. I feel like,
he's a caricature of a Shu Takumi, which I think is also really funny.
That's great.
The director of the other main Ace Attorney director is a dead guy. Ace Attorney Investigations 1. Shu Takumi is like this guy with weird Looney Tunes animations.
Yeah, freaking using his tie to
strangle himself, kind of.
Yeah.
Strangle his face.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm looking through this character list and like, no contest. He's the best.
I mean, I think the best written character in like the case is Kristoff, but he's not really from this case, so Spark Brushel wins.
Yeah. Kristoff kind of just starts showing up near the end. I mean, kind of get hints to some stuff he might have done earlier on, but it's not like.
I mean, they kind of tell you Kristoff is like the main antagonist of the case in the intro when they have like the ominous zoom into him on the witness stand.
Yeah. And then you learn some stuff about Guru being a forger. Not like a forger from Spy X Family, but like a guy that forges paintings. So, there you go. That's something. Any other thoughts on this investigation? I feel like it's pretty bog standard.
I always forget when you do the atroquinine spray at the Mission Studio. I always forget you have to like back out before it lets you look at the desk, because I know where it is already. When I play the game, I'm like, oh, it's in the picture frame. But then I go to spray the desk and it doesn't show up, and I'm like, oh yeah, you have to back. After a while, I'm like, oh, you have to back out, and then it zooms in on the desk.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I think I sprayed around like the entire office for a bit and got kind of annoyed because I couldn't figure out where they wanted me to spray at. But I eventually figured it out. It wasn't like that annoying or anything.
Yeah, it doesn't really bother me. It's just kind of weird.
How about we move on to this first trial day? Get a little bit of a funny opening here with the judge being like, oh, we're testing out the jurist system, so I sure do hope the jurists do like their best.
And the judge like having stage fright.
Yep. And then we'd be doing some Spark testimony, as you do.
Honestly, I completely forgot his first name was Spark, even though we were just talking about him, because I'm so used to only thinking of him as Brushel and nothing else. That's my brain is bad.
I mean, the top of his hair looks like a brush, so it makes sense. But yeah, I mean, these are all mostly fine. I mean, I feel like the big standout thing is when you have to do the perceive on him.
Yeah, that's the thing people talk about.
Notice
it's probably the hardest perceive in the game, but it's just in a really stupid spot.
Slight armpit sweat on an already really sweaty man. I don't know. I think that's kind of stupid.
Yeah.
It feels like it should usually always be happening with like people's hands or their eyes or face, some part of their face. Really?
It
His
feels like
freaking
it should be happening on
armpit?
a part of the sprite that changes with their animations.
Yeah. And honestly, do going through that one, because this is the one where I finally had to be like, all right, I guess I gotta look it up because I've been out here for like 10 minutes and I can't figure it out. Um, it's kind of annoying how much they zoom in because it makes it harder to actually figure out which part is changing because you can't see as much of the character within the frame. So you kind of gotta hope that you're on the right one and then you're looking at the right part of the person to actually know what it is.
Yeah, back when I didn't know all the answers to these, there was a lot of replaying the lines to get to them. But now I don't really engage with perceive at all.
Yeah. I mean, it's also kind of annoying too because for his, I felt like when you zoomed in on like every single one of those testimonies or parts of the testimony, his sprites really didn't change that much. Whereas when you have the one on shoot, what's his name, Christoph later on, his sprite like very much changes a lot on the one that
The
like
Kristoff perceive is like the one good use of perceive in all of Ace Attorney.
the wait, sorry, say that again. What do you mean?
The the segment where you're perceiving Kristoff is like the one good use of perceive to me in all of Ace Attorney.
Oh,
I,
really?
I
Oh,
do
wait,
not
wait.
like
Yeah, yeah,
I do
okay.
not like perceive as a gimmick. I have said this the entire time we're talking about it. I am not a fan.
Yeah.
But for I like the little jump scare they can give you in the Kristoff segment. I think that is a good inclusion.
Yeah.
We could talk about it again when it gets to trial day too.
I mean, I thought that one was fine because it was more obvious, like what it was, and also like it didn't take me forever to figure it out. But um, well, let's see. So go through all the stuff with him. We bring up a bunch of stuff about like the tiny frame and the red envelope and um,
The yellow envelope
yeah.
that he says exists.
And basically, this all this is leading up to the idea that Vera is actually the forger and not Drew. Drew is more like the face. Vera
And
is
that
actual
and that
talent.
the poison came from a stamp in the tiny frame that
Right.
was then taken away from the crime scene by mail.
Which honestly I think is pretty cool. Um, you know, I don't know. I guess she's kind of getting taken advantage of in a way. But it's the interesting setup for the case.
Yeah, I like both of the the like mysteries that you get resolved in day one. I think the like remote murder idea is cool. I like when the answer to a locked room mystery isn't like cheesing it, but like finding out a way that you could get a murder weapon into a locked room and then having it disappear.
Yeah.
I
The murder weapon being like male.
Yeah, it's not it's creative. It's not something that like you would think of immediately when you see the crime scene. It's fun. I like that a
Yeah,
lot.
because I think you
And
first learn about like the yellow envelope him sending out on the trial day.
yeah, you
So
do. But you see the mailbox on day one. And Emma's like, this is the only way stuff was getting in and out of the studio, basically.
yeah. Well,
So it's
besides
like,
Vera taking like coffee cups and stuff, so you got to figure
yeah.
out
Besides,
another
like,
way for it to happen.
yeah, like that's the only way he was in contact with the outside world usually. Besides, like shopping, I guess.
Yeah, it's a good setup though. No problems with that. I think this is also the one where we get what probably my favorite line from Brushel, where he has a whole play on the dog eat dog world line, and he says, "I live in a man sees dog eat dog and writes about it world." He's just he's just so good. But yeah, how about we move on to the second
Yeah, it's really weird because
trial section?
you see, Brush is like set up like a lot of heart type character at first, but he's actually like super cooperative the entire time.
Yeah,
Like
he's a smart guy.
Clavier even gets like a minorly out of character and tries to get him to uh like set up a testimony that would favor the prosecution. He's like, no, this is what I saw.
What a guy. Um Right. And so this is when Vera is on the stand for most of it, and we only get like a single testimony
Yeah.
in this one
I mean, they can't
before
make
a
it too
disaster
long because she
strikes.
starts biting her nails immediately. 15 minutes is not that long of amount of time.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, the testimony isn't really that. The main part of this real trial day is that Vera gets poisoned, and then
Yeah, she collapses on the stand. Well, off of the stand, but you know what I mean. She's
somehow
on the stand testifying and she collapses.
they have an animation of her falling over and hitting her head on the ground. Um, but somehow she took a just below lethal dosage, so she may or may not die. Who's to say?
Just in case you're not aware, atraquinine is like made up for this case, by the way.
Oh yeah, I
It's
didn't
not
think it was like a real thing.
okay. Because sometimes they use real poisons in Ace Attorney, and sometimes they use made up ones.
Yeah, this kind of sounded like, I don't know. They made it sound like you only needed to take a really, really small dosage of it to just like be lethal no matter what. So I'm kind of surprised they didn't at least try to make it a little bit larger compared to just like, I don't know. They
Yeah,
made the dosage sound small enough where I'm like, if I bit my fingernails or was putting my mouth in my fingernails, I could easily take too much. I mean, it's not a huge deal with the case or anything.
well,
I'm just
as a chronic nail biter, you don't put your entire finger into your mouth and you're biting your nails. That's absurd.
well, yeah, but your tongue probably touches your nails a little bit, right? I don't know. I mean, I guess Drew was putting like his whole mouth on the
Yeah.
yeah. So, oh well, whatever. It's not a huge deal. The case. I just found it a little bit
The
weird.
killer calculated the dose that was required to kill a 12-year-old girl, not the dose that was required to kill a 19-year-old girl. That was his mistake.
Yeah, but they kind of just awkwardly like end this section and be like, oh, we gotta figure out what happened to 7 years ago to figure out how to solve this case. And also, once we go back to the present time, they don't really have any fallout to this case. They kind of just skip to the next day when everybody is like, "Yep, we're back now. Let's see if we can end in this case." Which
It's a really weird because they should have
weird.
had the Mason system stuff. Like Apollo gets some of it, but not all of it, which is confusing because the player has more information than Apollo does by the end of the Mason system segment, which is the investigation on day 2.
Yeah.
They couldn't write a segment like introducing it where justifying that Apollo is seeing this because there's information you get there that Apollo doesn't know.
So I do wonder about why they felt the need to shove this 7 years ago case in the middle of this case. I mean,
I don't know. It probably should have been its own case 4.
yeah, I don't think it would have been too bad if it had been another thing. Maybe build it out a little bit more.
Yeah, if you
Because
build out this case a little bit more and the flashback stuff a little bit more, I think that would have solved pacing problems for like both of them.
I get the whole concept behind like Phoenix being tricked into using forged evidence, but it just feels kind of forced to me, especially because they don't have a lot of time to really build it up at all. They just have Trucy give him the forged evidence, and then he's just like, "Yeah, I'll use it." I don't
Well,
know.
they want Trucy giving the evidence before the trials of Phoenix is paralleled in case 1. So whatever happens, it has to be the same way Apollo gets the forged evidence in case 1. And because case 1 doesn't have an investigation segment, they have to do it in the same in the because case 1 is a tutorial, they have to do it in the lobby. So they have to do it in the lobby here too, because it's meant to be a parallel to case 1.
Well, I mean, I guess we could just get right at the heart of it. I don't know. How do you feel about Phoenix using forged evidence or being like tricked into using forged evidence? I guess. Do you think it works?
I think it's fine. It's not like a amazingly written moment. The gripes that I have with Phoenix are more like how he's written in this case, like the tone that his dialogue has.
He's all like kind of like a big shot in this one, at least in his
Yeah,
mind. He
like
is.
he never is written that way at all in the original trilogy. Like he's much more resolute in in Phoenix, because they wanted to write it as like, oh, he was cocky and he was boastful, and so he's getting comeuppance at some point. He needs to be
Yeah.
humbled, but like It's not really. It's a character flaw they introduced for this case. There's not like enough of a time skip between this and Trials and Tribulations for it to like, oh, this happened because he became famous. You know?
I just kind of feel like the forged evidence is too obvious. I don't know. Like, I understand he was kind of at his wits' end and didn't really have a lot of time to prepare, but like, is it really so bad that like he just would have just lost a case? I don't know. I mean, he doesn't have like a
That's what it's.
perfect record, does he? Or he
It's
doesn't really seem like he's written to be the kind of character to
he,
care about a perfect record.
he doesn't have a perfect record, but like what he's written as caring about is that like is Trucy in this flashback segment.
Hmm.
Because he's like, oh, Trucy will lose her dad if I lose several times, or at least once. In
Yeah,
my head,
but
it's several
her
times, but maybe at
dad is
least.
also like, well, if I lose, then I'm just gonna disappear for 7 years, no matter what. I'm just gonna screw you
No, he just says
over.
I can't convict him, and then he
It's
disappears for 7 years. He says to
it.
Trucy, "I'm gonna get ice cream after this trial, but you're not coming."
It just kind of feels like I understand Phoenix was tricked, but it also didn't really feel like anyone else was really helping him out either. It's just kind of like, yeah, I mean, we can just sacrifice your entire career for this. I don't know.
Well, Zachariah is a jerk.
Yeah.
I have
It
a
just feels
really
like
illustrated comic to show you that I love.
everybody is a jerk to Phoenix in this.
Here, this is the Zachariah backstory, how I see it, basically. And you can look at this any of time, but this is
Wow. Yeah. Um, I don't know. It just feels kind of forced to me. Um, I don't really like it. I mean, it's definitely not a great look, seeing as how he
so
just
I
immediately
think
goes
he should
back to
have
doing the
gotten it
law
during the
right after this.
investigation. I think he should have gotten it during the investigation. Like you can have the killer convince Tracy to plant it somewhere, or not the killer, the forger, the guy, the client of the forger, convince Tracy to plant it somewhere, and then Tracy like leads Phoenix to it during the investigation.
Yeah.
If like this is split up, and then you can have this because I already think there should have been an investigation in Turnabout Trump. I said that last time, and you can have to do the same thing in Turnabout Trump.
Yeah.
But there should have been a case before Turnabout Trump. I still think that like, you could have
Yeah,
six
because
cases in this
if
Turner
this if
game.
this was split into its own case, then we maybe could have had like one investigation and then two trials. That could have been cool. That would have honestly been more interesting than like the flashback case in Ace Attorney 3. You
Yeah,
know, build it up a little bit more.
I think if they built it up a little bit more, it could have been really good. I don't think it is really good. Phoenix and Gumshoe are both written too mean in the flashback. Like they both feel out of character.
Oh yeah, Gumshoe is like, I'm finally gonna stick it to you this time. And it's like, aren't they
It,
like friends?
like Gumshoe never cared about that. It felt like at least maybe in Ace Attorney 1, like a little in like Case 3, but like other than that, I don't think Gumshoe like ever cared about that sort of thing.
Phoenix doesn't get a good line though in his head, where he says, "You fail to grasp the concept of shooting people as bad, detective." I thought that was funny. We also have Volant on. I don't know. We're kind of just bouncing around on this one because there's a lot to talk about. But we got Volant on the stand as well. I think the little mystery with the IVs is kind of neat. I didn't really have too many problems with that.
Yeah, I think balanced testimonies are pretty good. I like the lead up to he was manipulating the time of death by increasing the amount of IV fluid in the IV. Again, it's really a lot of the elements of the mysteries in this case are really creative, and I like them. I just think that some of the writing is a bit
Yeah,
it prevents it from being great.
just makes me feel weird. Like some things maybe should have just been expanded more. It kind of feels like a big running theme with this case is I wish things would have been expanded on a bit more,
Yeah.
which unfortunately we don't really get. Sucks. Um, Volant does get a good line where he says it is forbidden for a lawyer to have a good imagination. I liked that. He's pretty funny in this case.
I like the judge's line in that conversation better, where where like he's making himself look increasingly suspicious, and the judge just ends that press by going, "Now be careful, witness, or I may have to start using my forbidden imagination."
Yeah. Uh, I guess while we're on the topic of him too, what do you think about Volant? Just like his whole arc in this thing.
I actually really like Vaughn's arc in this case.
Hmm.
That's why I wasn't. I like him in case 3. He's not like the best, but I don't know. I just I think like it's really sad that he's been waiting like all of his life to do this thing that he never even had the like legal rights to do, and it's being taken from him right at the end. And he's just and I like him just like turning around and just being like, I guess this is kind of what I earned. I think it's a good moment.
Just kind of feel bad for him.
Yeah,
He's
it's
like
it's
his
sad.
mentor just hates him, and then he's like, "Yeah, I'm picking Zach over you. Sorry, bud. I also made sure that there was no way you had any choice in it because I let him
His mentor rejected
go to
him. He
go to
like
my thing
deliberately set things
first."
up so that Trucy would like win, basically, because that's who he was motivated to set this up for. Because
Yeah,
his mentor hated both of them.
it's just
His mentor hated him and like basically rigged the thing to fail against him.
by
And
the end.
then
Yeah, by the end, I just felt bad for him. Like, and the fact
and
that
he
he
was just
didn't even kill his mentor. Like, I mean, he set up the crime scene, I guess, in a way, but
yeah.
still, like, he
Now,
he
by the
chose
way,
he chose not to commit a murder, and then he
since you
still
were too much
still
of a
suffered
pansy to
things.
kill me, I'm gonna shoot myself and make everyone think you did it.
Yeah, that's so lame. What a horrible thing to do.
Magnifi is horrible. Zach is horrible.
And also due to the fact that they didn't actually even kill his daughter. She was
Yeah.
still fine in the end. He did.
Magni
I mean,
this
he
is
they hurt
this is the
her, of
Grimoire
course.
timeline. So Magnifi has Thalassa. Thalassa has like a relationship and has a child, and then at some point abandons said child. The joke is that Zach caused this, and it's funny to assume he did. So I'm gonna say that he did. Uh, then Thalassa is back in Japanifornia with Zach and Valent, and there's a love triangle. And then Valent never gets to win anything in life, so Zach wins and Thalassa marries him. Wins the
Yeah,
love triangle.
and then they both
Uh,
shoot her.
and then Trucy exists, and then someone shoots her. It's framed as like one person did it, but I'm not sure who because that's like the same framing as the
Yeah,
Magnifi thing.
yeah,
Someone shoots her. She gets amnesia. Magnifi jumps her in Europe for some reason. She's blind now.
yeah.
I really don't know why this part of it happens. It's like what? I guess so he can better blackmail his pupils. He abandons his daughter in Europe, where she's also blind now and has amnesia.
It's
Okay.
so freaking convoluted.
Yeah. Uh, and then he blackmails them into doing like whatever because he says they said this is not the first time he's like said, oh, you can't refuse this order to them
Yeah,
in the letter. So he like is blackmailing them until he basically just gets sick and dies. And then he just wants the rights to go to Trucy because that's all he cares about. Which, to be fair, Trucy is like the most sympathetic out of everyone left. So I mean, that fair enough, I guess.
yeah. I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird part of the case. I just feel bad
My
for
name is
Palat.
Magnifian. I'm also a jerk.
Yeah, all of these magicians suck. Need a
I
new era of magicians with
I
Tracy.
think Valent is pretty sympathetic.
Well,
I,
okay, some of them suck.
I mean, like, okay, framing Zach is a bad thing to do, but what was he supposed to do?
Yeah. Also, aren't they in like a hospital? Aren't there other people there? Why did it take them so long to react to bullet shooting?
It was really late at night. And no one was there. Is the idea?
Uh,
It happened like
Nobody
right
is in a
before midnight.
hospital at night.
Listen, they don't understand what American hospitals are like. It's Japan.
Oh yeah, they just like, well, we're closing down the hospital for the day. Yeah,
As
sure.
from my
That's how the
understanding
hospitals
of
work.
like anime, that must be what happens. There's only like a few doctors left at night in a Japan hospital.
Oh yeah, but they wouldn't hear a bullet. I mean, all those doctors are too busy tending to patients and stuff. Maybe
I
Japan
mean,
just doesn't know what a bullet sounds like or how
yeah, there's
loud
not
it
enough
could
school
be.
shootings.
Yeah, he's whatever. That's a small part of the case, but it also kind of ticked me off a little bit. Um, I was also kind of expecting there to be more flack for Clavier just like immediately jumping on the forged evidence. Like the whole thing with the second Phoenix brought him up, he was like, actually, I'm gonna pause the trial and we're gonna have a little discussion here about that because I really looked into it. I don't know. Phoenix doesn't really like say anything about I don't know. That's just another sort of thing that's weird with
If it was
how that
expanded on, they probably could have done that, but they did not expand on it very well.
it's the
Honestly, if they did this happen before you see Drew Misham dead, that would have added intrigue. I don't know why they whatever.
it's another weird.
I don't think the reveal that Drew Misham is a forger is worth enough to like introduce this second, you know?
Yeah, now all of a sudden Phoenix is a forger 7 years later. I don't know. But I just don't think the whole way that evidence is treated in these cases really lends itself too well to this plot point. Like, they don't share evidence, do they? They just bring it up, like within. I mean, I guess Phoenix was given this, but still, like.
There's no discovery in Japanese courts.
That's
That
kind of
discovery is the phase of law where the attorneys share their evidence with each other so they can both prepare a case. That doesn't exist in Japanese courts.
yeah.
That's
So like I don't know. Wouldn't Phoenix have a case? Like how did you even know about this evidence that I haven't brought up yet? How would you have had the time to look into if it's forged or not? I don't know. Whatever. It's not a big deal, but it's still weird to me. It's just one of those things with how evidence is handled in these games. It kind of is a bit.
well, everyone hates the
questionable.
defense anyway, so I think Phoenix arguing against it about like how Clavier knows would not improve his standing with the judge.
Yeah. Well,
It's not really meant to be a fair thing. Phoenix losing his badge.
Yeah.
I mean, like the tone of the investigation segments, the best part of the case, the Mason system, is pretty dire if you examine everything.
Yeah.
Like Phoenix is not very happy in his internal monologue
Yeah.
and his external monologue.
I mean, he basically just lost his entire livelihood. So
Yeah.
it's kind of sad. Speaking of the Mason system, yeah, we have an investigation right before the final trial day, which basically kind of feels like they're just shoving everything, all the exposition they can right before the big finale.
I mean,
Just kind of
fundamentally,
weird.
investigation segments exist as like conduits of exposition, in
Yeah,
my opinion.
I guess it just feels bit weird on this one because we literally only have a single trial day after this. And also, it technically happens on another day, but it basically feels like it's just like continuing back from the
It's
trial
weird
we're
because the
already
second
in.
trial day, it probably feels weird because the Mason system segment is very long and the second trial day is short.
Yeah, I guess that's what I mean. Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff to explore in this one. We also get the return of the Magatama system, which it's kind of not. See, they don't exactly explain very well what the Mason system even is,
The
necessarily.
Mason system is like a video game that Phoenix is showing the jurists. I almost call them jurors because it's the
But
right
like,
term, but I
why
use what the game
is he
calls them.
allowed to do that? Because he set up the jurist system, so he can just.
Yes,
That's
that's
so
the idea.
stupid.
But the stuff that is being shown is not like fake or doctored. It is actual footage from like live action.
But
It's being
he
presented.
he didn't have that
It's
video stuff on his hat the entire time. Not in the past. How do you get all that stuff?
the idea is that he was recording the past as well.
No, I don't agree. That's stupid.
Everything that happens in the past happens like days after he lost his badge, so he started recording things then.
It also feels kind of weird when you jump between different scenes as well. So it kind of feels like you're just like, what's this thing? Oh yeah, I just suddenly have this piece of evidence now to work with. That's kind of weird as well. I'm not sure I like that part.
There's a controversy in the Ace Attorney fan base that I don't agree with because some people think that it is stupid in the Mason system when you get evidence from the future scenes, you present it in the past, but there's only 2 times you do that. I recorded both of them, and I don't think either of them is like problematic evidence because it's stuff that Phoenix realistically could have gotten in the past. They just made you get it in the future for some reason, for pacing, I guess. It's Thalassa being like dead slash missing is something you learn about in the future. You take back to Valent in the past. I believe that's what that. No, it's Thalassa being Magnifi's daughter. That's what it is. You learn from Spark in the future, and then you bring it back to Valent in the past. But like, he could have gotten that information on his own. That's probably public information. And then the nail polish existing when you're talking to Vera in the past scene, it's on the desk. It's just not added to your evidence until you look at the same bottle in Kristoff's room.
I think maybe they should have just done more work at like having it be chronological. Because trying to have you skip between past and present stuff makes it feel like you're like doing time manipulation. I don't know.
The only problematic piece of evidence is the one that goes future. It's when you talk to Zach and Zach, Brushel is there in the Borscht Bowl Club, but afterwards there's a second like only Spark investigate segment. That's where you get the Thalassa picture with the bracelets.
Yeah.
And you show that you have to go back and show that to Zach, but like, how did Phoenix have that picture? That's the one that is actually problematic.
Yeah, I did notice that one as well. That's bad. It also was extra weird for me because I started doing the
Realistically,
Magatama on Zach before finishing the brush one, and he brought up the whole thing, but like, well, nobody else has this, and Phoenix was like, I think somebody else has it, and then you like show that Apollo is the other one. Then you don't have the evidence to like explain why, so it's like, I don't know, it's kind of weird. Just had to give up.
It does lead to the best line though, which is, you can show me pictures of strange boys all you like, but you could at least say something like, I'm that boy. I could use the laugh. I really like the first part of that. Also, Phoenix canonically has to not remember Apollo's name because he just remembers it as something weird in case 1.
Yeah.
That's why I like the completely failed drama when he's like, Apollo is Thalassa's other child to Zach, where he goes, his name is something. I forget. Something weird.
I don't know, there's just something wrong with this Mason system thing happened right before the last trial day.
I'm not going to claim it's perfect, but I am going to claim it's the best part of the case.
You're going to claim it's the best part of the case?
Yeah. It's interesting, it's novel, it's fun, because the Makatama segments are fun to me.
We also get Mike Meekins returning. There's not much to say about him, but it's cool that he's here, I guess.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I like that they had to draw entirely new sprites for him, kind of. Well, partially new sprites, because he doesn't have a bandaged arm in this case.
I don't know. I think my overall thoughts on this Mason system is it feels like a little flash over actual function. I feel like they dressed it up really cool, but maybe they could have figured out a better way to actually get all this information to you instead of having it be just before the final trial day.
I would rather have the Mason system than a large series of flashbacks, though.
Yeah, that's fair. I just don't know how they could have done it.
And I think actually showing what Phoenix and Zach were talking about in Case 1 at the Borscht Bowl Club is important to resolving everything. It is good that they did that. Zach is a horrible person, but it is good that they at least like gave motivations for everyone in Case 1.
Yeah, that is true. There is that aspect.
Just to recap, Zach came to the Borscht Bowl Club so he could beat Phoenix Wright in poker, even though Phoenix Wright being undefeated in poker is how he provides for his daughter.
And also, they like planted a card on him and was gonna.
Yes, he cheated to beat Phoenix Wright. He cheated to beat Phoenix Wright's record, just so he could prove that he could beat Phoenix Wright in poker, but which would ruin his daughter's life.
Yeah.
Again, scroll to the bottom of the comic I gave you, where Phoenix just goes, if you ruin me, I'll have any money to take care of your daughter. Good thing I don't care!
Zach is just, like, terrible.
Yes, Zach is a horrible person. I hate Zach. He's, like, one of the least sympathetic characters in all of Ace Attorney.
It feels like they try and write him as, like an upstanding kind of guy, though, in some ways. I don't know.
I don't really know if they ever try to make him seem like an uptight guy, like an upright guy. I can't really think of time they do that. I think Trucy likes him, but that's just because she kind of like looks up to her father a lot, and then he disappeared when she was young.
Yeah. We also visit Kristoff in jail, and I find it hard to believe that he would leave the super incriminating piece of evidence against him just sitting out on the table. I don't
I don't think
know.
he was allowed to take it anywhere. He's in solitary for a reason.
Can't he just put it between like one of the books or something? Was he gotta leave it out on the table in full plain view of everyone?
I guess they could have moved it to a book and had you like investigate the bookshelf, and just Phoenix like, I know it's in there somewhere because I saw it earlier.
I mean,
But
well, okay, no, maybe this line explains it. It was my favorite line from Kristoff where he says, I care little about the outside world, save advances in chair technology. So maybe he was just really more concerned with chair technology.
yeah, Kristoff and Phoenix their conversations are always written in a way that I really like, where like they both hate each other, but they're just like being really cordial.
Yeah.
It's really good writing. Kristoff is by far like the best written character in Apollo Justice. Maybe not by far, but he is definitely the best written because Trucy's also really well written in my opinion.
All right. Well, how about we get
Just
on to
to,
this?
just to get it on the record, Trucy's my favorite assistant in the series.
I see. I mean, she's pretty useful. I don't know if I like her as much as Maya. I like her. I think I like her sprite animations and stuff more though. But yeah, it'll be hard to top Maya. I gotta really see if Trucy shows up any more significantly in any of the other games before I make a decision on that. But at least just based off of this game, I don't know. How about we move on
I
to
like the
this?
Trucy Phoenix relationship a lot.
They have good moments. I feel like maybe they get on a bit too quickly and well. I know that's like kind of the joke, but
It's not just the joke. What Phoenix says at like the very, very end of the case, where he talks about how like he's the only one who knows how Trucy really feels, and it cuts to like a sprite you never see in the entire game of Trucy crying.
mm,
That's that's like really important for understanding the way Trucy is written because Trucy is an entertainer. That's like the core concept of her character. She is almost always in performance mode. The like a lot of what she says to Apollo on the when they first meet is like flat out lying to him just to be funny, basically.
I see.
Like she calls the picture of Zach like an old magician she found on TV, she saw on TV that inspired her to become a magician. She just says like whatever she thinks sounds interesting in the moment, just to try to be entertaining, because that's the way she lives her life. That's what she lives for entertainment. Maya is like very earnest and straightforward. I think Trucy is like honestly probably the least honest assistant in the entire series.
I guess from that
She
perspective, it makes her a bit more interesting. I do feel like I would have liked if maybe they had explored that a bit more instead of just like a single line
yeah, I
basically
feel
at the
like
end.
there were drafts of the game, or maybe there was like ideas they had for sequels where they would explore the Apollo Trucy relationship a bit more, because that's what that's setting up is like that they're
Yeah.
siblings.
So we gotta get to this last trial data then because I just need to say it. I'm gonna be honest, it feels like Apollo did not have enough of a reaction to any of the stuff that was introduced in the Mason system. He
Well,
kind of just like, oh, the
Apollo
evidence I need to win the case. Oh, what?
Apollo doesn't
Also, my mother and also Trucy's my sister?
Apollo doesn't know those things. That's what I was trying to tell you. The Mason system is introduced awkwardly because it's not something that Apollo does.
But he
It's something that
also
jurists
has.
do.
They don't make that
Phoenix,
clear at all, though. Phoenix is just like, I showed Apollo the stuff.
no, what happens is that Phoenix says Apollo. It's not that Phoenix says. Apollo says Phoenix gave me this evidence, and he's talking about like the letter and some other stuff.
But
Off
why?
screen, I don't know. Apollo doesn't know this information. It's
Yeah,
really
why
frustrating.
would they not have Apollo? Because that could be the the only reason I can think of is because they didn't want to write that. They didn't want to write Apollo finding that out or Trucy learning that she's Apollo's brother.
The joke
That's
is that Phoenix is waiting for Apollo and Trucy to get married, and then he'll reveal their siblings the entire time.
that's horrible.
Surprise, your siblings. and their lives are ruined.
I'm gonna be honest. I was under the impression this entire time that Apollo just didn't really have any reaction to it at all.
No,
But I
he
guess him
doesn't
just
know.
not being told, I don't know if that even really makes it any better, to be honest.
It's stupid.
Yeah.
That's why at the end, before the credits, when Lamore is talking, Lamore slash Thalassa, I can say Thalassa, so I'll say that, is talking
Yeah.
to Phoenix. Uh, she says, maybe I'll tell them one day, because she's talking about her being their mother and then them being siblings. That's stuff they don't know.
And Trucy doesn't know that Apollo's her brother either, right?
Yes.
Okay.
She doesn't know that the bracelets are heirlooms. Only Phoenix knows that. Because the other one is one that Thalassa has.
That's I just yeah, you brought that up too. That's how am I supposed to know that Apollo doesn't know anything about the bracelets or anything? That's so
He was abandoned when he was baby,
how are we
basically.
supposed to how are we supposed to know which stuff Apollo knows and doesn't know? He only got the evidence from it without like any context for it, but we as the player have the context so we know when to use it. That
I
doesn't make
mean,
any sense.
I think all the context Apollo has is in the court record. It says like the letter has like it says what the letter says in it, and then it has the poison on it, which is like all you really need. Because there's not a lot that goes on trial day too.
Yeah, but like, doesn't he need the logic to link those pieces of evidence? It kind of feels like they just gloss over that because we as the player know that stuff.
I really think you need logic to determine that the yellow envelope you're looking for with the poison stamp is really the yellow envelope with the poison stamp that you now have.
But well, okay. I don't know. Maybe from this perspective, the fact that Apollo is just also willing to just be given evidence willy nilly without much of a reason behind it, I guess could explain it. Here's some nail polish, Apollo. This is useful to the case.
The nail polish also has poison in it.
Yeah, it has poison in it. Go wild. I don't
Or wait,
know.
no, the nail polish that Apollo gets is the one from Kristoff's cell. The nail polish that has poison in it is not the one he gets.
Uh, well, it's the clear one,
Yeah.
so I don't know. The trial day is actually really short though. You have a single testimony where you immediately have to do your perceive. I thought that they were gonna do maybe a bit more because Valant in some previous in the previous thing when he was talking about like being coerced into like shooting his mentor or not shooting his mentor. He talked about like a little devil in his head or whatever that was telling him to do something. And I thought they were getting at that with like the devil thing on
No, it's
Kristoff's
not related.
hand. But that's just not related at all. Why do that then? Why does he have a devil on his hand? What's the point of that?
They wanted to have a really weird looking final tell. That's the point of the devil in the hand. It is foreshadowed because Vera mentions it during the Mason system in the flashback segment of it.
Uh,
She says that she could tell he was magical because she saw the devil with him. That's why she trusts the magic charm he gave her.
they ever explain why he has devil on his hand?
It's the way he has a scar on his hand that you just can't see unless you're perceiving him. It's the way that like his hand tenses makes a devil face from the scar.
I see. I mean, I did see the scar, but
So the moment I really like is when you're perceiving Kristoff. When you get to that sprite with the devil where he's like he's pushing up his glasses and his glasses are completely white because of the anime.
yeah,
And you do the perceive and you just like see him like glaring at you with like complete hatred in his eyes. It's great.
it's, yeah, I did like that. That was
I love it.
interesting. Um, I don't know though. I mean, I get his motivation. I guess is kind of like he was just really peeved at Phoenix for getting his job over him. But
I'd say it's more than
did
just
he
that he's peeved over Phoenix. It's like the simple way of saying it.
did he really have to go do all that just because he got pushed out of a defense position for a magician he doesn't even really care about that much?
It's a very high profile defense position because Trupe Grimire is very famous.
Uh, I don't know. I mean, at
So
least he
Kristoff
doesn't just like
is
randomly show up for the first time in this last case. At least he's a guy that has been established.
so Kristoff is kind of like Manfred von Karma in that he's very like results focused. I don't think Kristoff is like, oh, I need perfection, but Kristoff wants to be like the smartest guy in the room, the best guy in the room, basically. That's why he like always has this air of sophistication about him. That's why this title is about like how cool he is during trials. Cool as in cool headed, not cool as in aura. Uh, that's why he gets so angry when his like big break is like taken from him. Because what he perceives Phoenix Wright as like a second rate attorney who wins everything through bluffs. That's what he says
Yeah,
in the trial, I think.
I remember him saying that.
He sees himself as, I am a genius, I earned my position. Phoenix Wright is a nobody. Why does Zach think he's better than me? I will prove that he's not. And so he goes through like, I think he was already had the diary page forged. They explicitly say there wasn't time to do this for Phoenix.
Hmm.
That's part of like why he was able to get it over. Why he was able to like
They
even be in the
immediately
running to
counter
get his.
that though by saying like, well, "Do you have any evidence of like, there's no records of Phoenix only having a good
Yeah,
day or
there's no
whatever."
proof. There's no legal way to prove it, but like the ambiguity is, I think, why he's even in the running to like get his license back. Is what he says during the end credits.
Hmm.
Like he was already planning on winning the trial with forged evidence. He just leaked it to Clavier because he was no longer the defense attorney. So he already had like the setup he needed to ruin Phoenix. And then he just wanted to make sure he already was going to kill them and stuff before you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he already had the forgery and the cover up for the forgery planned. He just wasn't planning on killing Zach until uh, Zach replaced him, basically. And he's like, I need to ruin everyone for what they did to me.
Hmm.
That's also why when Kristoff breaks down at the end, he's talking about how like the common people don't deserve to be in the law. It's just him in the law. That's like that's more him just wanting to be like the best person in the room, the smartest, the most eloquent. He wants to he like strives to be the best in all things, and because he looks down on other people. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah,
He
I
he
can.
strives. He sees himself as the best. He doesn't just want to be the best.
I can see the characterization there. He's just, I don't know. He's just not really in this game that long.
They should have had a case before Turnabout Trump where Kristoff is your friend.
Yeah, maybe have
That's what I
like
was saying. All of Turnabout Trump. He is the best written character in the game. I want more of him.
maybe have some of those like quirks with him trying to be the best seep through more. Because honestly, I did not really get that feeling from him until this last case. To be honest, even
Maybe
when he was on the
in
stage.
hypothetical case before Turnabout Trump as a new tutorial, he like threatens to fire Apollo when like Apollo is struggling instead of like supporting him.
Yeah, he's
And
like
then
he's friendly to Apollo almost the entire time. It seems like he just has a problem with Phoenix. I don't know.
the Apollo Kristoff relationship is really underdeveloped. Phoenix and Mia is also underdeveloped in like the first two cases of Ace 21, but the difference is that Mia comes back as a ghost. Kristoff is in jail and cannot like talk to Apollo for most of the game. And then the
Yeah.
only time they talk to him again is Apollo's trying to prove him guilty of more murders. It's just not like it's hard to have a compelling relationship when you're doing that, you know?
Yeah, it would have been. Honestly, it is a bit of a disappointment that it feels like more of the rivalry in this game is still between Phoenix
Yeah,
and
the famous
him
like meme in the
compared
fan
to
base is that
Apollo.
the game called Apollo Justice ends with Phoenix Wright proving the murderer guilty and Apollo doing nothing.
Yeah, they even have a line
Because
at the end where after they have like done it and the jurors voted, Apollo is like, I wish I would have said something, but I didn't.
I do really like the his breakdown, especially the way the lead into it was just right, right, right.
Yeah.
Like going from just saying the word to screaming Phoenix's name, and it works with Japanese too, because Naruhodo means I understand. That's Phoenix's last name in Japanese. So the original context of just going, I understand, I
It is it
understand.
is kind of cool to see his sprite just like slowly deteriorate as this day goes on.
Yeah, I like his post breakdown sprite a lot. I like his manic laugh at the end. He has a lot of really good animations. I love Kristoff.
He's
I think
okay.
I think
Maybe
if
if I
Kristoff had a
replayed
bit
this
more,
game, I'd like him some more.
I think if he had more presence throughout the entire game, he would like easily be my favorite main villain in Ace Attorney.
Kind of gives me the impression that this game really has a lot of subtext, like that you only really catch on another playthrough, but it kind of just needed more actual text, you know, to build out some
Apollo
of this
Justice is
stuff.
a game with like really strong main characters besides Clavier, and a lot of interesting themes to talk about. But I think the actual game is a bit undercooked.
Hmm. I mean, I can agree with that. It is kind of a nice change of pace not having like a Larry or an old bag show up to make things really goofy. But
Spark kind of does that, but he's also like a really honest
yeah,
witness.
but he's not a gimmick. Well, okay, he's a funny character. I wouldn't call him a gimmick character though, like old bag, I guess. Like old bag's whole goal was like to throw out like a crazy thing, and I don't know.
Her goal was to bone Edgeworth.
She's yeah, she's a an old woman that's not going to take no for an answer, basically. But I don't know. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Then they have the big reveal that Lamamir is
But
actually the
it's the double
mother.
reveal that the juror you were playing as is Lemure, and that Lemure is Thalassa.
Yeah.
And that Phoenix Wright definitely rigged the jury. It's a triple
Yeah.
reveal.
I mean, look, the man got screwed, but also like, come on, really? They just let him get away with that,
Eh.
just
It's
rigging
hard for me to be
everything.
sympathetic towards Kristoff. He's kind of a horrible person.
Yeah. Well, I'm just more talking about like the justice system in this country in general. Like, wow.
I guess I'm more of a pragmatist where I don't really value the law being followed to the letter that much. Where it's just like, well, as long as you could do what's right in my point of view,
Look,
which is kind of a dangerous mind. It's a dangerous mindset if I was in charge of the law, but thankfully I'm not.
as we have said in the past, things are absolved of not making much sense if they're funny, and this wasn't really that. I don't know. The whole jurist system wasn't really that funny to me.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like it felt like it was shoved in there because they needed a way for Phoenix to have like an advantage or whatever on this case instead of
So what I
I
don't
don't know.
remember how true this is, but what I've heard is that the very first drafts of Apollo Justice did not have Phoenix in them or the jurist system. I'm gonna call it jury system because it's called the dub. It's just a jury system, but whatever. Phoenix was a request from like Capcom because they're like, oh, you can't have an entirely new cast. You gotta have the old main character back. Might be why he's written the way he is, where he's like a hobo now. This is stuff that is
Mm,
hearsay. I don't remember how true it is, so take this as like a grain of salt. It just kind of feels like it. Where like Hobo Phoenix exists because Shootopi's like, I don't really want to write Phoenix again. I'll make him completely different, you know. And then
yeah.
I've heard so around the time that Apollo Justice was coming out, the Japanese government was switching their trials to use a jury system. I've been told that this is a request from like someone to Takumi. Please put the jury system in Apollo Justice and have them switch to it in the game.
Should have been there the entire time, though. Not just the last case.
The
It
idea
would
is
have.
that they're building up to we need a system that is more flexible and so we can actually catch all these evil killers, and that's what the jury system is.
It didn't really feel like a lot of the cases necessarily fit that bill, though. I feel like I don't know. Maybe you can fill in the gaps for me and let me know if I'm not thinking it through enough, just because I haven't played this game that many times. But I kind of just didn't really feel like any of the cases necessarily made that case. Like the whole law system is flawed in this game. I feel like
The idea is
they kind of made the case for like the tutorial case and the one 7 years ago, but the two other ones we had, I don't know, they seem pretty clear cut.
They had to use forged evidence in the tutorial case. That's the obvious one. And then the second one is case 3. Like I mentioned earlier, the situation would not be nearly as complicated as it was at the end if they could just use the jury system, because it's blatantly obvious that Darien is the killer by the end. They just can't like get him until Machi testifies. Technically wouldn't be required under a jury is the idea. I don't really think it's like set up super well, but it is what that is the intention.
I can see the themes. I just don't know if they're really done that well. And also, we 100% really could have used like one more case in this game.
Yeah, I like a lot of the ideas of Apollo Justice. I think the actual game. This is the last. This is when I say there are 3 games that battle for the spot of being like the worst Ace Attorney game. In my point of view, Apollo Justice is the last one. Ace Attorney 1.
The last one as being like the most likely to not be the worst?
The last one as in the last in those 3. They all alternate depending on how I'm feeling.
Oh, okay. So it's more likely than the other 2 to be like the worst game in the series.
No, they're all like fairly even.
Oh, okay. It's
Apollo Justice, Ace Attorney 1, and then Ace Attorney Investigations 1, in case you don't remember.
Yeah. I mean, I told you this after our first recording for this tutorial, and that I had heard this game has been described a lot as potential game. Now that I have finished it and it's all out in the open, and also I know a bit about how the rest of the games and the timeline go, yeah, it really is a potential game. I think it would have been cool if maybe they had continued with this juris system. It would have been cool if they had had the juris system go on throughout this entire game. So maybe it was a bit more impactful in the end.
Yeah, I think having a jury Ace Attorney would be cool, but I guess I didn't really want to think about how writing that would look in Apollo Justice, so we just have a normal case.
It would have been cool if we had gotten to see Apollo's reactions to finding out all this stuff about his past, and also.
It would have been cool if Apollo found out about this stuff about his past. He does not do that.
It would have been cool if we had one last interaction with Kristoff and Phoenix, or we had any real ending for Clavier. It would have been cool. Basically, this game would have been cool if they had done a lot of other stuff. But I don't know. Any other closing thoughts on this case then, I guess, from you?
I'm excited to get to the 3DS era of Ace Attorney. That's my favorite section of the series.
All right.
Which is not a popular opinion.
Well, I mean, I'm excited. We're starting to get into territory that I've never played before, so I have a lot more to look forward to. I mean, I liked replaying the original trilogy, but you know, it's all stuff that I already know. So even if this case didn't like wow me or anything, it was fun just like having a new case to play for the first time that I didn't know anything about. So yeah, but case ends. Let's see. Vera is okay somehow because you picked the good ending. You can actually pick a bad ending to this case where she dies and then it ends in like 1 minute and that's it.
I have all the Steam achievements for this game. I have all of them for all the games except the Grace Attorney, which I will be getting when we replay the last case of the Grace Attorney 2. But for some reason the bad ending is a gold achievement. Like a gold trophy on the PlayStation.
You gotta be really freaking stupid to pick that option.
Yeah, maybe that's what they're telling you. But most of the gold trophies are like things that you have to do across multiple cases, like seeing all the ladders, seeing all the Mr. Charlies, seeing all of Apollo's miserable life.
Forensics, I think, is one of them. Doing
is
all
that one
forensics. Gold? Oh, it might not be gold, but
it is. You can. They use the same pictures. On this, what I was going to say is they use the same pictures on Steam as they did for like PlayStation, so you can see the trophy frame. That's how you can tell how I know which ones are gold and which ones aren't.
We get a nice sketch. Apollo and Trucy and Mr. Hats. Mr. Hat really didn't have much of a reason being in this game at all, besides that one moment in, like, the second case. That was it.
It's also how like Zack escaped from the bailiff.
I guess so. It was kind of
And
nice seeing
the
Mr.
Mr. Hat
Hat.
animation is like the coolest animation in DS Ace Attorney, so that
It's
also
true.
earns it a spot in the game.
It was nice seeing a pink Mr. Hat, I guess. Um, okay, well, I feel like we talked a lot about the potentials of this game here,
I
so
like. Oh yeah, by the way, you can like Jersey like when she's making Mr. Hat talk, she like very subtly moves her arm.
yeah, I do like
Kid
that.
Jersey is like way more obvious with it because
Yeah.
she's not as good yet. I like that. That's a good detail.
I think she also has to like jump and push her hat up so that Mr. Hat
Yeah, it's
catches
a
it.
yeah, she does.
Yeah. They're pretty nice.
Baby Jersey.
Yeah, why don't we go over a bit of the high points of this game though before we go into the rankings? I feel like we just like ripped it for its potential for quite a bit. I mean, the music is great and continues to be great. I like all the animations, of course.
Yeah,
All
like
very
I
good.
said, the main cast in this game besides Clavier is really good. It's like probably the best main cast in Ace Attorney.
Yeah,
I
I can agree
like
with that.
Emma has a fun like setup where she's she's completely failed in her life goals. That's fun to me for some reason. It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's more interesting than just she's just a detective.
She's not a very good one either, but I guess that's kind of the joke.
I mean, it's probably why she failed the exam.
Yeah. Nice to see all the little touchscreen gimmicks that
Really,
don't really work
really,
as well.
really makes all those moments in Ace Attorney Investigations where she blows off her studies to help Edgeworth hit a bit different, doesn't it?
Yeah. Maybe she should not have had a 1 second cameo in the investigations games and should have been studying.
She was pretty important in Ace Attorney Investigations too.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, the Mason system is cool, even if I think that whole reason for it being used is kind of flawed, but it's cool. Something different. We got all those extra types of forensics analyses, which is cool.
They made the most of having the DS touchscreen.
And hey, at the very least, at least they tried to have a gimmick in the trial sections instead of having it only be investigation stuff, you know? It may not have worked out that well, but at least they tried. Even though it didn't work out that well. But...
Well, from here on out, I think every single new gimmick is in the trial segments. Oh wait, no, there's one that's definitely in investigation segments that I consider a gimmick. You might not if we get to it.
Okay.
You probably will though.
Well,
so I'm immediately wrong.
When we get there. All right. Well, any other final thoughts on this case before we give our ranking of it or whatever of it?
Yeah. You know, considering how you all call the series Phoenix Wright, it's really weird in hindsight how none of the DS Ace Attorney games, because the originals are GPA games, had Phoenix Wright as the main character.
Yeah.
Unless you consider Phoenix doing like most of the work in case 1 and 4 to him being the main character in this game, but he was barely there in the other 2 cases.
Yeah, I don't really consider him a main character in this game.
I consider him part of the main cast. He's not the main character.
Yeah. He's kind of there in 2. He gets hit by the car. Pretty important.
I really like Phoenix being hit by the car and flying up 30 feet and then not only having a sprained ankle. I think that's really funny.
Yeah, imagine the timeline where he just dies and then all this work was for nothing.
Evil Apolojustice. Phoenix dies after case 1.
Yeah, he becomes a hobo and then instantly gets killed off.
Trucy is like depressed for the entire game and can like barely hide it.
Yeah.
As opposed to the current Apolojustice where Trucy is depressed for the entire game and can hide it.
That'd be horrible. Oh jeez, I don't want to think about that. Having a Phoenix
Trucy's like, my 3rd parent is dead.
Phoenix is like, wait, no, I did not want to become a mentor. That means I die in the 2nd case. Luckily, he did
That's
not
why he didn't
die.
become Apollo's boss until after the second case already started. You see,
Yeah.
so he couldn't get killed in the second case.
They just had to remind him, hey,
And then he spent the
don't
third case running
communicate.
from the hitmen.
Yeah,
It's actually very clever. That's why he's barely in case 3, you see.
exactly.
Tracy claims he's working on a secret mission. He's actually just avoiding all the hitmen sent after him for becoming a mentor at Ace Attorney.
All right. I think we gotta start wrapping it up here. So, Goom, how about give me your emotion first? What emotions are you feeling for this case?
So I spent a lot of time thinking about this case and everything involved in it, and a lot of characterization, a lot of stuff about Apologist as a whole. I think this case made me feel creative. Analyzing is fun. I think a lot of the details in this case are fun. Does it really come together to make a completely satisfying whole? But it's fun to think about at least.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably one of our longer final case discussions here. So there was definitely a lot to sift
I mean, we
through.
also did a lot of Coda on Apologist as a whole, because Apologist is an interesting game to talk about.
Yeah, yeah. From that perspective, even if it wasn't the best, there's a lot to think about in it. So it stands
Yeah.
out, that's for sure.
I have more respect for Apologist than I do for like Eastern Investigations 1 because it's aiming for more.
Hmm. Yeah,
It's
no,
more ambitious.
I think we'll get to maybe some game sort of ranking stuff in a second here, but how about I give my ranking now? So thought about it for a while. I'm putting this game at a solid 13, right under Turnabout Samurai, right above Turnabout Corner. So I think that makes this the highest
I think that's a bit fair. I mean, I think
case
that is fair.
case in this game. Like I
For what it's
said,
worth,
it's an
I think
alright roller
Turnabout
coaster.
Corner is my favorite case in Apologists, but I don't like. I don't hate Turnabout Succession or Turnabout Trump. I
Oh
think
no, I
it
don't
has
hate
three
it. Yeah,
solid cases. Apologists, and then it also has Turnabout Serenade.
yeah. Turnabout Serenade was not too good, but I don't know. I mean, I liked this one. I didn't like love it. It's kind of hard to compete with some of the other final cases in some of the games, besides Turnabout Ablaze, of course. But that's kind of a outlier.
Yeah.
Um, but
I
yeah,
think I'd rather have an undercooked final battle than an overcooked final battle.
yeah. So that's
Could you imagine like 10 Kristoff testimonies?
oh geez, yeah. I guess just one testimony is fine in the end. Um, but yeah, so 13 out of 28. That puts it above half. Which is good. Uh, yeah, but how about then we give for all the games that we've played so far, what is your ranking of the games?
So I'd probably say bottom is Eastern Investigations 1. I'm being
Mm-hmm.
consistent with what I said earlier. I think I like next is Apollo Justice, then Eastern 1,
Mm-hmm.
then Justice for All, then Eastern Investigations 2, then Trials and Tribulations at the top. I think that's probably the order I'd go in. I think a lot of the I think overall Investigations 2 has like probably a stronger cast of cases, but Trials and Tribulations has a higher peak, and I like Godot a lot.
I
So
see, I see. I mean, my bottom three are exactly the same. Investigations, Apollo. Well, I don't know. There's a lot to like about Ace Attorney 1, especially if you include Rise from the Ashes.
yeah, they're all good games. I like all of them.
I've always kind
Yeah,
of been
maybe.
like, I really like Rise from the Ashes from 1. I really like the final case from 2 is my favorite. And then I feel
Honestly,
like
Investigations 2 might even be better than Trials and Tribulations in my head, but like I'm used to having a script that I don't like quite as much as the current script, so I have a bit
I
of
would
bias
say
against it.
Investigations 2, Ace Attorney 2, and 3 kind of move around in my head where I would place them. for me. I think I like 2 a bit more than you, but I I don't know. I'll have to think
Yeah,
about this some more to know my
2
ranking.
is good. I think what stops it for me, like the top tier, is that like its only super strong case is the last one, and then
Yeah.
it has kind of a weak first case, and then 2 good cases, and then a really strong one,
3 pretty
and
much
then
has all strong cases.
yeah,
So kind of hard to beat that. Yeah, I could agree with 3 probably being at the top. And then
3 has all strong cases. I so does Investigations 2, but I just think that like Villain of 3 is more interesting.
I like Investigations 2 more than 2. I'd have to think about that a lot longer, I think. But some of those the last 2 cases in Investigations 2 were extremely good. Oh, I probably like Investigations 2 more than 2, actually, now that I think about it. Okay, I'm pretty sure I have the exact same ranking as you then. What was it? From bottom to top, Investigations 1, Apollo Justice, Ace Attorney 1, Ace Attorney 2, Investigations 2, and then Trials and Tribulations.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. Well, I guess we were in agreement then.
I'm not doing a very good job having Apollo my favorite character and then having his game solo. Oh well.
Uh,
Not my favorite character, my favorite main character, my favorite guy you play as. I did not say that correctly. And we have not met my favorite character in Ace Attorney yet.
Alright. Well, Goom, now that we're wrapping up here, where can the people find you?
People can find me. If you look 7 years in the past, you'll find me there in the past, and you have to talk to me to get my secret evidence. And then if you show it to the mail clerk at your local mail office, then you'll find me inside the mail. He'll show you me.
Wow, incredible.
You have
And
to use the Mason system.
yeah, remember to use the Mason system. But you can find me here on the Zigzam YouTube channel, not the Zigzam Mason system. They don't
Oh my
have
gosh,
that.
I forgot to say. I forgot to explain why it was called the Mason system.
Oh, yes, please do that. I still
It's a
don't know.
reference to Perry Mason. Which is like a TV serial about a defense lawyer that was one of the inspirations for Ace Attorney.
I see. I mean, alright, I guess.
It's just a little in joke. It's not really important.
Yeah. Huh. Okay. Well, I guess that'll pretty much do it here. We will be back in 1 or 2 weeks for the next game in the Apollo Justice trilogy. Ace Attorney,
Apollo is in the next case.
Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Dual Destinies. Wow.
Why isn't Apollo in the title of this game? What's happening?
He doesn't even make it in there. All right. Well, look forward to that. We'll see you for now. Bye bye.
Actually, I'm thinking about why is it called Dual Destinies?
Because there's 2.
There's 3 main characters in that game.